Zhas. All right, so here we go, guys. Another round in the $200 Blitz World Series Big Little Lake Tournament. You guys can see here we've already had a lot of matches. If you've missed them, they're all posted, so go watch them. But we've had a lot of great games here. We are moving on into the loser bracket. So Zain and Zhas, they both have one loss, but they've made their way through the loser bracket. The loser of this match is going home. The winner of this match continues on and plays the loser of the match that's playing right after this, which is Quas versus Zed. Berg's Shame Monster's getting in the way there a little bit. He did drop out of the tournament, so that's why he has the Shame Monster. So Zain and Zhas right now, both excellent players. Both have made their way far into the tournament and are looking to not go home and continue on. So Zain in red, Zhas in yellow. We got the tunnel set. Okay.
Which series is more exciting to you, Ed? Is it Quas versus Zed, or is it Zain versus Zhas?
But hold the thought, because I'm smashing the intro. Hold on. Come on, Snark. Do it. Do it, Snark.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another round of the Blitz World Series.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I think that's a good question. What do you think about these two matches? I mean, well, let's start things off. How are you guys feeling about this? Zhas and Zain. We got Zhas in yellow out of Kazakhstan in the top left. Zain out of Pakistan in red in the bottom right. Both top-level players. How are you guys feeling? Where are you putting your money in this match?
Well, you know, it sort of reminds me of the series yesterday, right, where Zain is an overall better player in the vanilla game, although not as good as Legend. But Zhas, you know, he studied Blitz. He's been the Blitz man from the start, Ivor. He's never stopped Blitz for a second. But, like I said, I know for a fact Zain has gotten some serious reps in. So I don't know, man, but I'm excited to see what these guys pull out here. We see a little bit of a, a disagreement here as Zhas goes War Factory first and Zain with no War Factory. It's 2 oils first. Interesting.
Yeah, and talking about, I mean, this build being the product of reps is very, I mean, if you saw this build and the player hadn't been playing, you'd be like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. But the fact that we know he's been playing and he's opted for this build is very, very interesting. He's built like kind of a square buildings. We've almost never seen that with Soviet. You're usually trying to stretch out, but he, for some reason, thinks that he wants to do a conservative build with his Soviet, protect those 2 early oils, and somehow try to stay alive, which is going to be quite alting the War Factory, loses the War Factory, and 4 Rhinos. I'm not sure what Zain thought was going to happen there, but it certainly played out the way that you would have expected.
You see a War Factory first and you go 2 oils, now you're in trouble. You need to be spamming those sentry guns. As soon as you see the War Factory go up, you want to be having those sentry guns everywhere, all over your base. You know you have the eco to support them. You go, you make like 20,000. You do not stop making sentry guns and units.
Yeah, I mean, because he had the base set up that would have allowed him to get those. I mean, if he's not going to bring the early Rhinos, you know Zhas is going to bring the early pressure. I'd just be curious, you know, like we talked about, I would just be curious as to what Zain thought was going to happen there. But anyway, it was interesting. Zhas takes him a quick first win. And that first match, the Soviet versus Soviet, always plays very, very differently. And we'll see here. So even with that first decisive victory, Ed, how are you feeling? Where are you putting your money?
Like somebody in the chat said, I blinked. What happened?
Yeah, yep. That's about right.
But I feel like I want to give this one to Zhas just because coming into Blitz, before Blitz was even created, he's kind of been the master of playing the little mini games, right? He's been put in reps on these type of games for the longest time before Blitz was even in presence, you know? So I feel like all these other players are catching up to where he is now, you know? Zain is putting in the reps, but Zhas already has like that, I feel like, a comfort zone, whereas Zain, I feel like, is more still forcing himself to try to learn these things, you know, and Zhas has been doing this forever, you know, and him putting in the reps, like Stark saying, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to beat. And I'm not discrediting Zed at all, but I feel like there was a little a fluke there. I feel like Zhas should have taken it, but Zed did a lot of good fucking had a lot of good games. I can't deny that, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna find. It's possible we're gonna find out because it's very possible Zain and Zhas are gonna get a rematch. But we're going into game number 2 here, Allied versus Allied, completely different game, completely different style. And what's the build here? Apparently, oil first for both players. Nothing crazy out of Zhas yet.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And the Allied versus Allied is so interesting. It's so often comes down to the use of the AFC. Early AFC from
Oh.
Zhas, and Zain is going to go War Factory. And we'll see.
Yeah,
If Zain, we'll see maybe maybe just some early Grizzlies here. We'll see how Zain. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you have your strategy that you want to play, and then you have the strategy that you have to play versus a player like Zhas because you know he's going to be bringing a very specific look. That aggressive build down to that bottom plateau again from Zhas, and Zain out with some early IFVs. Which is interesting. Not even
I think
putting
he
GIs
expected
in
some
them.
there,
Just yeah.
Interesting.
And
So
we
he
saw
was
this
expecting
last game.
there.
Yeah, we saw this last game as well. He went AFC first, but he didn't make a single Rocketeer. He's just doing it for the paradrop, the early paradrop.
Yeah, yeah. So what a lot of players do is exactly what Ed said: is you go AFC, but then you also try to make Rocketeers and Eagles and Rhinos, and you just go broke. Zhas just makes the AFC and just chills. I don't, Paradrop is good enough for me. Oh, and Zain is gonna lose to those pillboxes. He
Ooh.
lost his AFC.
Yep,
Oh,
on the
that's
backside
unfortunate.
trying to thinking about taking that oil, decides not to. Yeah, the AFC, it's really dangerous. You see these players who stretch, they want to stretch their base, they're trying to get somewhere. So whatever building comes out is part of their stretch. But the AFC should be protected. I mean, you get it out, you don't get your paradrop and you lose it, and that's just a big kick to the nuts early on in the match. You don't want to have it. I mean, it's really, really not ideal. And now pushing it, Zhas pushing in with his paradrop. And nice pillboxes here. And you see, if you look at this map, obviously it's a rectangle. They're in the corners. So if both players go to the bottom left corner, that is Zhas's corner. He's closer to it. So he's going to lose that race, and he did in this case. Zain could have gone to the top side. But both players, decent little armies here. And Zain out with the Rockies. Oh, yeah, both pretty even right now.
6 oils versus 5, and AFC later for Zain. But yeah, it is pretty even, except Zhas is in the bottom. Zain is completely out of position. They're going to go for a trade here. Oh my god, do you really want to do that? He's
No,
going for his MCV. He's going for his MCV.
Yep. Oh, and Zhas just sells the MCV. And there's no anti-air in that bottom group, so the Rockies are going to get as much done as they can, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to lose the War Factory. Ooh, but Zhas does not dive on the barracks. So Zain is left with a barracks, and Zhas does not have a barracks. Oh, and Zain can just click the buildings.
Rocketeers.
The oils
Mistake.
the oils do not count as buildings here. The oils don't count as buildings, so Zain just has to click the last few remaining buildings here. Zhas calls GG, and it brings us to 1-1, which is just what the people needed. All right.
Oh, so we got a series. Zain, obviously no joke. He was down. He lost an AFC early, but he wins the base trade. He put a Prism Tower there, which slowed down the Grizzlies big time before he lost his MCV, and he had Rocketeers, and Zhas did not have any anti-air, which cost him the game.
Yep. Yeah, and it's interesting to look, in a normal, like when you're looking for a base trade, it's interesting in Blitz because you have to make that calculation of the oils don't count. So it's like, in some cases you're like, oh, his base is too big, I couldn't destroy him all before he destroys me, but you really have to try to count out the oil derricks. And in that case, Zhas realized he had to go home to defend himself because he had to try because he didn't have enough buildings left to stay alive.
I don't think he thought that one through all the way. There was a little bait and switch from Zain a couple times, right? He did it like 2 or 3 times where he was kind of like feinting the base trade, and Zhas would pull back. But at the 3rd time when he committed, you'd assume that Zhas is going to be like, okay, well, this is literally what you're going to do, so I'm going to prepare for it. I'm going to put some extra buildings, I'm going to put some extra pillboxes or something, and then take this base trade. Because Zain tried it two or three different times. And then Zhas just took it. He's like, all right, well, you want a base trade? Let's base trade. But he didn't prepare for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with Ed 100% there, and that's the way to do it. Base trading is an art, it's a skill, and looks like Zain outplayed Zhas there, but now we're switching it up even more as we get Soviet versus Allied. Zain gets the Allied, Zhas losing the AVA match gets the Soviet first.
Yep.
And I love that it switches up the factions, that you're forcing them either. You don't pick factions here. No, you're forced to play every single matchup, and we're going to see AVSs from here on out.
And yep, we got to see those diverse games really push the players to their limits. And it's interesting, on this map early on, watching the meta develop over time. We had that semi-pro tournament where Allied was so strong on this map. We saw a lot of mid-game, a lot of late game. But now, even early on in the pro tournament, we saw an earlier meta. Berg and Quas had a couple games go down to time. The 10-minute timer went out. But now, as we get later into this pro tournament, we have seen faster and faster games. We've seen the Soviet rush be super strong. We've seen the GI rush and end a lot of early games. And it just gets so crazy as it moves into the mid-late game. Players have been pushing early, and we've seen a lot of early games. And here we see the early GIs, we see early Rhinos, and Zhas is going to counter these GIs. He has his radar out, so Deso is going to be out very, very quickly. There is a flak track out. So Zhas knows what's coming and seems to have everything he needs to counter it. Those GIs didn't move fast enough. If the GIs go right away, it can be pretty...
Oh, that sucks.
Wow.
They were on the
That
same
is
square.
nice.
They were right next to each other.
The
and they
double
both
kill
went
for
down.
the Eagle. That is huge. The Deso and the flak track. Oh my god.
Oh, Zhas better not get tilted from that. Oh, but he misses the Deso now with an Eagle, so I guess that makes up for it. Zhas gonna be pushing in here with the Rhinos. The Deso's coming. Zain needs to get those GIs out of there.
Yeah, no reason to lose those, especially early on. GIs aren't free. And, you know, I think a super early GI push, you can kind of feign it, like, and make your opponent go radar, make them go Deso, slow down their economy. But as soon as the Deso's out, it's over. You know, try to hide the GIs if you can, because they're going to die.
Yeah, Zain is in trouble
gonna
here. He
dive
has
is
Grizzlies versus Rhinos. Oh, but the power drop at the top left. The Deso coming in
Power
from one
drop top
direction. Oh,
left,
but
and a nice Prism Tower to defend. Paradrop top left is completely left alone. One GI is running off for some reason. Oh, doesn't deploy the GI. He's too worried about the Deso as he should be. He loses his Eagles. Zhas sells off his radar, handles that Paradrop quite easily. And that series of events did not go the way that Zain wanted.
Did that Deso kill the Eagle?
Yep.
the Deso did kill the Eagle. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, does he have another Prism ready? He is gonna need another Prism to deal with this attack.
Ooh.
Good tank control there.
Needs-
But he's out tanked big time.
And Zane's broke. Zane's broke. He's out tanked. He can't afford to get fodder in the mix. He's out tanked so severely right now.
Oh. Zain in trouble here. He needs pillboxes, he needs stuff, but like you said, he has no money.
No money.
What is the plan? Zain, AFC goes down first. Prism comes up. Oh, he was building
my
prisms, eagles, and tanks at the same time. You cannot do that early game allied. Zain is still alive. He's not out of this, but if we do an all count real quick, Zain is actually ahead.
Yeah, Zain. If Zain can stay alive here, he got another AFC right out. He was probably already building that AFC as the other one was destroyed. You got to keep the AFC out. That's the juicer for the allied player. Bringing some conscripts in as some fodder for those prism towers is smart. Zain's broke. If he can hold on, if he just had a little bit more time, his economy would catch up. But he does not have any more time. Does get another prism tower up. Ooh, can he snipe the War Factory? War Factory from the cliff. Sell it. Sell it. No reason
Come
to.
on, Zain, sell it.
Ooh.
Loses it, but the seal is out to
Oh,
help deal
this-
with all of his conscripts.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, and he
Look,
takes the
it's
back
this
door, and that's what it's there for, folks. And is he gonna dive? No, he's gonna fight the tanks.
And he keeps winning these tank battles. And look at Zhas's base walk. Oils are in Zane's base right now.
Will
He's
that
about to
kill
lose
the
next to his MCV. Zayn moving his MCV to save it. Elite Grizzly comes out.
He saves the oil.
Oh
wow.
my gosh. So, whoa, I looked away for a second. Those rhinos are dead. So now we do see an anaconda from Zhas right now, circling his enemy's base with oil derricks, daring him to attack them. They will go off like a lit fuse and take his whole base down with them. The strategy defined by Ed himself in the booth with us here today. It's a dangerous move, the anaconda. There's not a good counter for it right now.
Yeah, the Anaconda definitely a scary move. Zayn is targeting one of those oils. The Rocketeers are on the pad drop in the top left is getting cleaned up. He didn't deploy those GIs. And now Zhas is coming in with 4 rhinos. Oh, the elite goes down. Another prism comes up. The Eagles are here. There's so much going on.
Yeah, and Zayn doing a great job staying alive, but you got to be looking for a counter punch right now, especially with your enemy's oil derricks in your base. Zha's on 16k right now. His oils are in his base. You don't want this game to, as this game continues, it's just going to be so annoying. Zhas is going to keep popping up barracks, popping up sentry guns. He has the money to mess with Zayn so hard now that he's in his base. Really, really annoying. Takes out a power plant, just trying to slow things down. A lot of
and
prison
once
towers.
you make those Eagles, you gotta use those Eagles. A lot of prism towers everywhere. That's gonna be helpful, but look at Zhaz's army in the top right. It's huge at the moment. He could come in with good macro and start sniping. Zayn is gonna go for a trade here. Is this really the move? You cannot send those Rocketeers in. There's flak troopers and 2 flak cannons right there in your face. And I don't know if Zayn wants to go for a trade here. He does need to spam allied infantry. Oh, but he's gonna get Zhaz's MCV.
The MCV, he hit that barracks too. If he can get up there and finish that barracks, oh, he's alting, or sorry, the war factory. Nah,
Yeah,
is he gonna?
Factory.
Oh!
so close, and in Zane's base, Zain is going to lose his MCV as well, but he does get another War Factory up, so he's on 2 War Factories AFC. Zain has everything he needs to win this game. Zhas can't produce any more, and I think that Zain wins this.
Wow. And hey, and that's the counter for the Anaconda. Oh, your opponent's gonna be building in your base? Dive on their MCV. Now they can't build in your base anymore. Problem solved. Yep.
Wow, I thought Zhas had that game, but I think Zain wins this, am I right?
He's got 2 War Factories, an AFC, and a barracks, and he's got a ton of Prism Towers. Yeah, Zane's got everything he needs. He is a little broke right now. It might take a bit of time, but
yeah,
I like
5 goals.
I like Zane's position though. But yeah, he'll have the money coming in. At the moment he's broke, but he'll have the money coming in.
Oh, demo truck, demo truck.
Ooh, countering this demo truck will be important. Zain does see it though.
He needs to use an eagle, and he
Yeah.
needs to be careful of all these flak tracks.
Zhas needs to be careful where he tucks that thing though. If he can try to snipe that demo, well now. Yeah, there you go.
Zain dives on it.
Yeah, he had
With all
to.
the prisons, I guess he just doesn't care.
And the 2 War Factories too. Yeah, I like the position here. Lot of ooh, it'd be nice to get another Navy SEAL out. Those conscripts
Seal now would be brilliant.
conscripts are a great counter. He's got that barracks right there. He could pump a SEAL out right now. Those conscripts are going to cause a lot of problems for these Prism Towers. Where's the Navy SEAL, Zain?
He's rushing him with the Grizzlies, crushing most of the troops there. And he
Ooh.
has so many Grizzlies that it just doesn't matter.
Yep, cleaned him up nicely.
Wow, and the demo truck going down to the prisons on the right-hand side. Zhas, instead of making Texas, they're making demo trucks. He has a big group of flak troopers just chilling in the top there. But again, at this point, I feel like it's over. Para drop coming in for Zain to, defend that bottom line. And Ed, can Zhas do anything here?
I don't think so, man. I think this one's over. I think slowly but surely, Zane's
Yep.
just gonna go way too far ahead. He can sacrifice units all day if he wants to. He's just gonna rebuild them. There's nothing Zhas can do against all these prism towers.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. And if we look at the money, Zhas on 30k, no way to spend it, trying to spam infantry. All he needs is a Navy SEAL or a big group of GIs. Another demo
Or
truck
a
coming on the
sniper.
left.
He's got a sniper. He can
That's right.
he can put a SEAL in an IFE. He can put a
2
sniper in an
minutes
IFE.
remain.
Oh, this demo truck could be problematic. Bottom left. And
Okay.
Zhas, I love the distraction from Zhas. He pushes it on the right side as the demo truck comes from the left. And there goes Zane's second War Factory. Zain no longer has a War Factory, but at the same time, that dive from Zain on the top side is going to be pretty much clean things out.
Yeah, a bit of a base trade here. But,
Yeah, and
Zhas
that'll-
can't win this.
That was pretty fun, though. I like that from Zhas. He pushes on the right. At the same time, he pushes the demo truck on the left. That was a great move. Not going to be enough in this particular instance because he was so far down, but that was sick. I really like that move.
Definitely very, very high level plays out of both of these players. But this means that Zain is actually going to pull ahead here. What does Zhas have left? One flag cannon behind the tree there.
Yep.
It goes down. And but this actually means that Zain pulls ahead.
Yeah, and how are we looking on this prediction right now? What's the crowd think? Wait, do we have a prediction up for this? Why can I never figure out what's going on in my own stream? Wait, Snark, can you hear me? Oh.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Just
Oh,
fine.
Ed, you're on here? Oh, we might have lost Snark. Okay, might have lost Snark. Yeah, so Zain pulling ahead. Wait, is there a prediction in the chat, Ed?
I don't see one.
Why can't I see the prediction? Snarf! First chat from viewer. Thanks for hanging out, man. Okay, all right. Anyway.
Zhas. Buggy
Yeah,
ass game.
yeah,
He
Zhas,
was missing
buggy
the
ass
good stuff,
game.
too.
Yeah, I love that. That's always the best. You know what I take really, really seriously? When the winner tells me there's something wrong with the map. That's when I know there's something actually wrong with the map. When the loser says something's buggy, I don't usually take the criticism very seriously. All right, so now we're switching over. Zane's taking Soviet. I think Snark probably lost his internet. All right, let's kick Snark.
Oof, that's unfortunate.
All right, we lost Snark. All right, so Zain pulls that one out there, and Zhas, that's too bad. I mean, Zhas got to be pretty upset. I think there was definitely a big window of opportunity there. We've seen that so many times, Soviet versus Allied. It's very often the case where
Player
Soviet has an
defeated.
opportunity early on, and the longer the game goes, the more Allied has the ability to tech up, to defend themselves, to use their air, and slowly kind of squeeze out the Soviet player. So, Soviet versus Allied now. Yeah, this will be interesting to see what Zhas brings. Be interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are you feeling pretty confident in Zane's ability to close this one out, Ed?
No, man. You can always count on Zhas to bring it back. I mean, Zain is no joke, but like I said, for me, Zhas is a favorite here for some reason. Zain is putting in a good show, though.
Yep.
close.
And these early GIs, what's the counter? What's the counter? Here it comes.
Yeah, these bunkers are going to be so hard to get through here.
But you
Take
can
these
kind
guys
of
all the way around.
you can get around them though. I mean, that's what that back alley's for. You can go walk right around them, and it's a lot of GIs. I mean, Zhas is really committing to this, and a Grizzly on the backside.
Another bunker. So Zain going straight defensive here.
Yep. But he's outranging. He's using the hill here to outrange that bunker,
Wow.
and does take it down. That's a great use of the elevation there. Uses his higher ground. Taking this barracks would be really, really annoying. Zane's primary defenses are going to go down with that barracks. I don't know, man. The early GI rush has been so problematic on this map. I think there's time to get the Deso out, and I think with how destructive we've seen it be, I think the early Deso is just the way to go.
They're doing it again. They're doing it again.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on
again.
here.
Okay, Zain tries to run his MCV, doesn't get it out of
no.
there, but Zain gonna clean up on. Oh, those GIs out of the War Factory are nice. Slow him down a little bit.
Wow.
So, as the dust settles here, Zain kind of is forced to make a push. Without a War Factory, only on 3 oils, Zhas wants this game to go as long as possible. Zain wants this game to be as short as possible. Zain does have quite a few
Yeah.
rhinos, bring in the conscripts. Time to go.
If this was Red Alert 2, I'd say that Zain pretty much has it in the bag, but Yuri infantry are really strong. So
Yeah, the
got
GIs,
GIs,
yeah.
we got a bunch of GIs. He's not defending his War Factory though. I mean his MCV.
Yep,
Surprising.
yep, and that's this map. There's no bottlenecks on this map. If you got someone somewhere, you can always drive right around them. Now Zane's got to dive on that War Factory, and Zhas not really defending him. Zhas not maneuvering troops or adjusting
Yeah,
well,
those GIs,
really.
I feel like they should be a little closer to the War Factory there.
Gonna dive on the War Factory, vaults the War
no.
Factory, and so Zhas just left with a barracks now.
Again, Yuri infantry are really strong. He's
Allied
definitely
infantry,
not
yeah.
out of it. Yeah, allied infantry. Actually, I was gonna say, I don't know what you can do against this many GIs.
Yeah, the GIs are an issue for sure. So he brings out a flak track. Flak tracks can counter nicely in some cases, but man, that's a lot of. I mean, Zain could have been looking to go down and just take. Zain could have considered a back door and just taken out the buildings.
Player defeated.
I mean, Zhas only had 2 buildings and 2 pillboxes left, but Zhas takes one home the quick way and brings us to 2-2. What a funny
Yeah,
match. Oh my god.
I really thought that Zhas was gonna get out of that. I thought he was gonna lose the match there when he took that base trade, but again, having all those GIs and all those GGIs.
GIs
out
are
there.
so devastating. Let's see if we got
Jesus.
Snark in here. No message from Snark. Okay, all right. No Snark, no Snark. So now we move on to Zhas goes Soviet now. Moving on to game number 5. Wait. Oh. Yeah, wait. Oh, yeah. Okay, you're so. Yeah. I'm like, how are these guys messing this up? You just switch every time. It's like so simple. They're making me question it. $20 donation from Adam. Drew. Appreciate it, buddy. That $20 evolves around here too. You throw 20, I match 20. That's $40 going towards next
Player
month's
defeated.
tournament. next tournament, it's going to be great. Next month, everyone's invited. We got 4 different divisions playing, Division 1, 2, 3, and Pro. Everyone's welcome. If you want to play, hop in the Discord. You can join the Discord channel. Let me know. We're rounding up players right now. Some of the matches are going to start next week. Like I said, all skill levels are welcome. It's going to be a great tournament. Lots of money and prizes, thanks to generous people like Adam. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, so now we move on. Zain's got his allied look now, and early GI silliness from the GIs from Zain as well. And we'll see if Zhas decides to counter again with the Deso. It worked last time that Zain brought this. Seems to be a pretty good move.
Yeah, he's not committed to the GIs though. I feel like he doesn't even need to get an early satellite for this, or I mean early radar and Deso for this.
You feel like he doesn't need an early Deso?
No, I don't. No.
Oh, not
so.
yeah.
Not for this. Not for this many GIs.
Yeah, it's true. I guess that's always kind of the thing, but because yeah, that early Deso does kind of throw you off your build, but it can be annoying. It's enough to melt that sentry gun. Oh, the flak tracks and a couple sentries on that cliff. Yep, flak tracks can be a good counter too. Ooh, and some super early eagles. Wow. And we're gonna see Zain out with eagles and Rockies, and a lot of flak from Zhas, and I don't know. I mean, what do you do now? How do you defend yourself? I mean, we see a very conservative build from Zain. He's trying to build into that corner, try to defend himself with towers and pillboxes, but wow. And Zhas out of position, almost loses a power plant. Now out with a war factory from Zain. I mean, yeah, if Zain can hold on, but man, he does not want to. Losing those eagles is devastating. They're so expensive early on. And back again in his base with the power plant, and Zhas without those flak tracks. Would be nice to take this power plant. Paradrop to defend himself.
One of Allied's biggest downfalls is the fact that he can't sustain all these buildings with just look. He has to have 3 power plants in the field, and that's too expensive.
Yeah.
Early on, he look at his money. You know, he's super broke right now. I mean, he's making it work. He's keeping Zhas busy.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do with this.
Though.
Oh, and Zhas able to handle those GIs on the top side easily. Does get that power plant. So Zhas low power possibly.
He's had like 4K for the last like 5 minutes, and he still has not made a flat cannon for those 2. There you go.
There goes the flat cannon.
Those things are just so annoying, man.
And I think with Allied, if you're gonna bring out the triangle. You got your ground, your air, your Rockies, your Eagles, your Grizzlies. I like to call it the triangle. You bring out the early triangle. You kind of have to distract your opponent into not realizing they're ahead. You have to like stay so busy and just keep bothering them and attacking from different spots so that they don't realize, holy shit, I have a ton of rhinos. It's time to storm down the castle door and take out the MCV. And Zhas decides to drive right into the Prism Towers, right into the Grizzlies. Terrible decision with those tanks. Those tanks could have gone anywhere. There's so many back doors into Zain's base right now. Really rough move to bring those rhinos right through there. It's his only point of his base where there's defenses. I want to be too critical. You know, Zhas knows what he's doing more than me, but he's still got a ton of rhinos.
He's hitting on 9K right now, and Zain is still hitting. He's hitting 0 quite often.
But Zain keeping the pressure on right now.
Yeah.
And he's like tricking Zhas into not realizing that Zhas could backdoor. He could use either of those back alleyways, try to backdoor it. And well, now there's a decent amount of Grizzlies too, honestly. Zhas isn't spending his money. Zhas on 11K. Zhas is not spending enough money right now. Ooh, misses that flak. That flak hit would have been nice. Those Rockies could have got some nice chip damage in. And Zain on one side, then the other. These quick little in and out missions. Zain looking warmed up, moving really fast, looking nice right now. Now just a ton of flak troopers. And I feel like Zhas is just kind of in the mode where he's like, all right, let's just contain this. Let's just stop all this nonsense. Let's get our anti-air. Let's get our Deso. Let's just stop everything. But the problem is with the Allied player is that for Soviet, you don't want to move into a mid game. Like, Zain wants you just to go conservative, go defensive, and defend yourself, while he now is going to get his money rolling, get his tech out. There's the Battle Lab. Now he's going to bring the Mirages, the Prism Tank, and the Soviet player is just going to keep falling behind. So Zhas, feeling like, oh, I'll just need to get a lid on the situation, is really what Zain wants. He wants to slow him down. He wants those rhinos to be sitting up in his base board like you see they are right now. Gonna push in again on the power. Ooh, a nice flat cannon. Ooh, gonna lose those Rockies. Now gonna lose the flak troopers possibly as Oh, I thought he was going to make a push there. Conscript's now on the left side. Now Zhas in attack mode. He's on 20k. Going to take advantage of that cliff. Try to find a back opening here. Prism Tank's out now for Zain. I'm surprised we didn't see some early Mirages to help hold back these Rhinos.
Yeah, like you said earlier, Zhas definitely not using or spending his money wisely. He has 20k now, and I feel like he could have done a lot more. Granted, he's been rebuilding power plants over and over and over because he keeps going low power. Zayn doing a really good job picking him off, but I don't know, man. He needs some more units out there. He has so much money.
Yeah. I mean, so Zhas needs to be building on all 4 tabs right now. Are you surprised about these Prism Tanks from Zayn instead of Mirages right now?
Oh no, I think the Prism Tanks are the right choice here. He can pick out buildings still like this.
Yeah, gives him more of an offensive look. I feel like I'm still worried about these Rhinos, but Zayn certainly doesn't. And I love these. I mean, and that's how when we designed this map, that's what that lake was supposed to be all about. Creating these like splits and backdooring situations on a very, very small map. And I love that there's like both sides of the map to be played. He goes to one, he goes to the other. Zhas sees an opening, he pokes in, pulls back out. And Zhas needs to avoid. Now those Prism Tanks are absolutely massive. Brings out a Dreadnought. Zayn sees it and snipes it. Zayn now on 2 AFCs. Going to create a lot of problems here. Those 2 AFCs can pretty much start picking targets. And Zhas, the back of Zhas' base is looking juicy. Nuclear reactor. He's got the IC. He's got the MCV. Tries to push in. Keeping those Prism Tanks back nicely. Oh, yep. And those Prism Tanks can control the water. That's nice. Ooh! Right before the Dreadnought goes down, he is able to get that AFC. Yeah, that was a nice move. That was a good spot. Way to spot a target there from Zhas, but unfortunately his Rhinos are getting melted from these Prism Tanks right now. And now you'll see Zayn is behind a gap generator right now. Yep, oh, okay, nice Zhas. Nice look for a counter there. Could maybe see a Deso bomb in those Prism Tanks could work out well.
Yeah, so that mid game that we were talking about where I feel like allies get really strong. I mean, late game, they have a good potential as well, but Soviets are no joke late game. He has the Iron Curtain
with the
now,
Iron Curtain.
Yeah, just being patient now, making sure you don't die to all of these prisms, and then one IC, you go in and you can basically kill all of those prism tanks.
Yep, and I think that's what we've seen make or break a Soviet player. If a Soviet player doesn't win in the opening, in order to win mid or late, and he does go in on the prisms here, and that was not the exchange he wanted because an Iron Curtain doesn't work if you don't have any tanks, and Zhas has nothing left to defend himself.
He was so close to having the IC ready too. What do you do?
Wow, and that's a top level play though from Zayn, watching that timer and pushing Zhas right there, because 5 seconds later, Zayn would have been able to IC his tanks, take out all those prism tanks, and Zayn's broke. If Zayn would have lost his whole army to that IC, he would have had a very, very difficult time recovering.
2 minutes
hard
remaining.
to say if the end game would have gone any differently. Zayn's still looking really strong, but
Player defeated.
yeah.
To be fair, not a lot of people understand how powerful prism tanks can be in a large number of groups. Just like that, they are very weak, and usually like 1 or 2 shots, well, definitely not 1, but 2 or 3 shots kills from a tank can kill a prism tank, right?
Right.
You can always for the most part just kind of overwhelm prism tanks with your Rhino tanks, but when you have that many, the prism tanks are doing AoE damage, so they're not just hitting one Rhino at a time, right? They're hitting a bunch. So when you group your tanks like that against a group of prism tanks like that, it's just how we saw it. They're all going to get melted eventually,
Yeah.
I can't believe he could have just held off a little bit longer just by continuing to. I mean, his Desos were going to continue to die to the prism tanks, but if he just kept deploying them over and over and sacrificing them, Zayn would have not been able to push in because the Desolation would have destroyed the prism tanks. They stand no chance, But that's just to buy some time for the IC. And again, I'm speaking from the booth. He's under pressure.
Yep.
I'm sure there's more to it, But that would have been the right move right there. Just continue pumping out those Desos and deploying until you got your IC.
Yep. And that's, I think that's absolutely right. And I think Zhas had that idea in mind, but like we said, the plans are always a little bit easier until you start getting hit in the mouth. And, yeah, it's always a combination of things at a top level like this. It takes a couple mistakes on one end and the other player capitalizing and making a lot of good decisions. And Zayn played it really well. Didn't let him get that IC off, and that was kind of the nail in the coffin there. Yeah, let's catch up. What do we got going on here? I feel like we got a hype dance we need to do. We need to get a voice change. Let's get a hype. We'll get a hype tank. I feel like this match we're feeling pretty good. 3-2. These guys are giving us a good show. Let's give them a hype tank. Hype tank action. All right. There we go. I'm feeling good. The hype tank's just what I needed. Thanks, guys. You guys knew what I needed there. All right. So now Allied versus Sov, and we've seen Zhas. I feel like has been on the top side so much in this series. Funny how that goes. It is random, but all right. So and Zhas again with the early GIs, and I mean that's how Zhas has won his games with early openings and stuff like this. So I don't think there's any reason to stop it. That dog gets a couple done, and Zhas is committing. Zhas puts himself broke. This is a lot of GIs. This is a make or break.
He's committing a lot.
Zhas is going to win in the next 15 seconds or have a very difficult time doing anything else. And the bunkers from Zain, I think, are a good counter. We've seen a lot of people struggle with this, and the radar. Yeah, and I think Zain feels that, hey, this is his push. Let's really commit. And so he's going to bring out a Deso. 3 bunkers and a Deso. He's not messing around. And it was the right move.
When you see that many GIs out, that's when you definitely need a Deso. So perfect move by Zain. He didn't just rely on those bunkers like last time. Last time we saw all those bunkers just eventually die out.
Yep. And that's yeah.
I mean, Zhas looking in a bad spot here. He wasted a lot of money on those GIs, which didn't really get much done, to be completely honest. They just killed 1 bunker, and that's it, basically.
Yep. Yeah. And I think so. The thing with the GI push is that you have to be the kind of player. If the opponent knows you're going to commit to it, then it's really difficult, because if they know, hey, he's putting everything into this, that means I can put everything into my defenses, then it's very, very difficult. You want to be the kind of player who sometimes you do it, sometimes you pull him back, sometimes you do a half attack, you know what I mean? And then the opponent doesn't know, like, oh, is it worth the Deso? But with Zhas, when you see that many, you're like, this dude's committed. Let's build the Deso, let's build 3 bunkers, let's just put everything into it. If we survive, we'll survive. So,
For sure.
A little too predictable, I think.
Zane's giving Zhas too much respect here. I mean, he can literally go in and just end the game, to be honest. He doesn't need to be like pulling back anymore at all, unless you're not targeting the right things.
Yep, and this is game point. It is best of 7 here, and Zain could take home the series.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, very easily, yeah.
Zain, don't let him breathe. Just keep going, man. You already won this game.
He wants to be calculated, slowly, doesn't want any funny business. Player like Zhas, you never know. You're always looking over your shoulder, thinking there might be a Navy SEAL in the back of your base. Systematically coming in here, yeah.
I think he keeps trying to break him down. He's killing the oils here.
Yep. No reason to rush it. $200 on the line, you know. Losers going home. Zane's being nice and careful right now.
Yeah, he is trying to be extra careful. I don't know. Zhas knows he's in the back, but he's just committing here, trying to get something done.
Yep.
He is only sitting on 3 oils compared to what, 4, 5 oils from 6 oils from Zain.
Yep. Unfortunate situation for Zhas. He gave Zain some good looks, but I mean, Zain's looking really strong. Zain's looking really, really strong as a blitz player. Obviously, a super strong traditional player. And yeah, I think yeah, realistically, I mean, I think what a big part of this game, what it came down to, was the scouting report. Zain knew how Zhas was going to play, and he countered it well. We did see, I mean, he did lose a couple points early to some early GIs and stuff like that. But overall, like we saw right there, you know, that GI push from Zhas, it made it look like, you know, to the untrained eye, it's like, what was Zhas thinking? But the GI push works a lot. Like, Zhas has won many games with that. But unfortunately, when your opponent knows it's coming and your opponent is as good as Zain, he makes it look like it was a terrible idea. And that's what Zain did with that last one. But Zain took the series there, yeah, 4-2.